my God, did I just say, does Jimmy go down on you? You better buckle up.
Welcome back to Access Hollywood's Housewife Nightcap. I'm Lauren, and Emily, I am just so excited to talk to Gina today because last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County was truly iconic.
You know that I am in New York, I am right near Long Island, and I am ready to go, okay? Here at Access Nightcap, we like to have our guests choose the drink of choice. Gina chose gin with club and 3 olives. Cheers.
Cheers.
I had to do Diet Coke because I'm at my parents' house, but I have the gin in there, okay?
Love it. That's really, that's the biggest part, you know.
Yeah, and the alcohol. So we're set on that. But okay, cheers, ladies.
We encourage you guys to drink along with us if you are over the age of 21.
No fake IDs allowed at this recap. Okay, it's time to get into this recap and break down last night's juiciest moments. I just need my drink talking about it. Like, so much happened. So moment number 1, all about Braunwyn's vow renewal. Gina, you did not drink.
Yes, I
decided not to support her. Tell us, like, what made you get to that decision?
I really saw how much Braunwyn was struggling, and I just think, like, all these parties that we all have, there's so much alcohol involved always, and I just wanted her to feel, like, safe, I guess. It was kind of like a mama bear moment, I guess. Like, if she was struggling in any way, that at least she had one person there that she knew was sober and supporting her. So
I think, like, it's so nice because let me tell you, I have people in my life that are sober, and I think it will actually make people realize more that just drink, like people like us that are just kind of drinking, having fun, realize and be more cognizant of people like with problems that don't drink. I thought it was really like a great thing for you.
This was going to be something that she was going to have to go forward with and do, but she also couldn't not have any alcohol at this function, really. So I just wanted to, you know, I was hoping that everyone else was going.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So you're over here supporting her, but then we had Shannon, who you said was 10 sheets to the wind, and Kelly also bringing the tequila.
I think I started to tell the ladies about how I wasn't going to drink to support her when I went out to dinner with Elizabeth and Shannon. And I was telling them because I expected them to be like, oh, it's so nice. Yeah, let's all do it together, you know, but I also don't want to be pushy or tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do. And then when I was on the bus, I told them, oh, there's going to be no tequila there, just telling them, you know, that's her trigger, whatever, thinking that they would like start to, you know, form this idea, but it never quite came.
Were you shocked though? I was honestly shocked. Like, I know the level of savagery that happens, but I mean, to actually stop and get tequila and bring it to this woman's event, did you think like, I don't know, like insensitive of Kelly and Shannon?
I thought I wouldn't have done that. But I think that if they wanted to, I thought really the insensitive thing though, like if they want to do it and they want to do it in their room, you know what, that's their prerogative. It is also like a little vacation for them, a getaway, fine, whatever. But like Shannon walked into the venue with it. And that I thought was really very inappropriate.
So at the vow renewal, Braunwyn and Sean say that they are reimagining their marriage. At that time, I'm sure you guys didn't think that this would mean that Braunwyn would be moving on, seeing someone special.
I mean, to be honest, I don't believe that Braunwyn knew that at the time. You know what I mean? I think that she really thought we're going to renew our vows and commitment to each other. And then I think that probably the more that she went along in her sobriety, I mean, sobriety changes everything, I would think, especially for somebody like her who clearly was struggling with like a lot of demons and things, you know? So I don't think in that moment she did. I think Braunwyn just wanted to have a party really and put on a pretty dress, honestly. And I think that she probably decided to do this vow renewal before she got sober. And then I think she was committed to it. And, you know, I don't know. I don't really know. Braunwyn's very confusing.
But you know who's a little more confusing?
Oh, okay. You know who's way more confusing? That was a great transition, Emily, because I'm like, yes, we need to talk about our next moment number 2. Elizabeth is just confusing, but her not having sex with Jimmy,
I know.
Understanding.
I mean, I'm clearly perplexed by it because I'm asking her like a series of like very inappropriate questions that now,
I think you're being inappropriate. We're adult women. These are adult women. Like,
I know.
What's happening? You're sharing
I'm
your life.
just horrified that I actually said that though, because then like my dad watches the show and I'm like, oh my God, did I just say, does Jimmy go down on you? I'm immediately like going into crisis panic mode. Like, oh my God, why do I open my mouth? But yes, I wanted the deets, you know, it makes no sense to me. And especially because even if it was like, okay, I was in this bad relationship and now like I really want to like wait till he wants to wait until we're divorced to do the right thing or whatever. I'm like, but she already had sex with him. It's like,
is Jimmy a religious man?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Is Elizabeth religious, or do you think she just is still in love with her ex-husband?
No, I think she was just full of crap because she didn't want to admit that she was like basically obviously having an affair with this man. She said she was married, and I think she was afraid because of her divorce, to be honest about it.
Okay.
You know? I think, but then I'm like, but then just don't talk about it. That's always the problem that drives me nuts about these situations and some of these women. It's like, I will respect your boundaries, but if you bring it up, it's like she would bring up these really big, odd things, and then you want to ask follow-up questions, and then she doesn't want to talk about it. And that's where I get confused, or she just has a different response every time.
So do you think then she is just very concerned with her divorce, with getting the amount of money that she, like the biggest amount of money she can get? Because I know Emily did point out that she thinks a lot of this just has to do with money.
I do. I think that Elizabeth she wants to see herself, and she says it often that like she doesn't care about the money, and she was consumed with the money, but now she doesn't care about the money, but like all she does is talk about money. So that's
she took us to the Porsche dealership or Lamborghini or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, Lamborghini.
Ferrari.
Yeah,
Ferrari. Yeah.
Okay.
Ferrari. Yeah.
Clearly, we don't buy Lamborghinis.
That's not the last time you hear about the Ferrari, by the way. You got you're in for a real treat with the ride with the Ferrari.
That is a moment to sip on.
Right. You better buckle up.
Overall, what do you think of Elizabeth as the new cast member? How's she?
Oh, I think she's a great new cast member. Listen, even last year, you know, and I never got along with Braunwyn or anything, but I recognize she's great for our cast. I mean, they're entertaining. They make no sense. She's a great cast member. I'm like, part of me wants to start hanging out with her more and more like now, but I'm like trying to wait because like I want all those questions that I have, like everybody to be on camera so that everybody can see the answers.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't want to figure you out yet.
Yeah, just wait on that so we can see it.
Yeah, I'm like doing it for the people.
For the people, which we love. Yeah. But I do think we need to move on to moment 3, or else we'll just talk about Elizabeth this whole time because we are still very confused by it, honestly. Yeah. But moment number 3, while we are talking about Elizabeth, you look back at that night with your ex-husband, Matt. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask, how was filming with him, first of all, because you did film with him a couple episodes ago. So how did that go for you?
I encouraged Matt to do it. Like we had a conversation about it. I didn't pressure him, but I encouraged him to do it because I actually felt like I feel like it is a really good message to show people. By no means do I think that if you were in a domestic violence situation and that person is still abusive in any manner, that you should be like, oh, but I'm gonna force co-parenting and let's come over for cake. Like, no. But and it's still, you know, sometimes up and down for Matt and I as we go through our co-parenting journey, but he has changed himself significantly for the better since that. And so I will not be the person that's going to like take that away from my kids if he is in a better space. I think it's important to show people that you can co-parent still, even when you were literally in the worst situation and in your relationship. I think it's still possible as long as you have two mature adults to separate out your relationship from your co-parenting relationship. And I wanted people to see it, you know, and I wanted people to not, I know Matt's like probably like one of the like probably most hated guys in America, but like he's not a monster and he's good. He is a good dad, you know, and I think
you did the right thing for your children. Absolutely. I think you did the right thing for your children.
Yeah.
How was it for you? You know, it's, first of all, watching you go through this is actually so hard, like, because we all feel for you. And I think so many women can understand. And if you haven't been in a situation like that, you know someone that's been in a situation like that. So thank you for sharing, because it's so scary and vulnerable. So, you know, it means a lot to people, I think.
Hard. I didn't even realize, honestly, which is naive of me, but I think it was just so deep in my own stuff. I didn't even think about how that would impact the viewers or, you know, anything like that. And I am glad that I shared about it, because like there's like when I'm crying at the lawyer's office, even it's like, and I say like, you know, I think about the women and stuff, it's because of all these women that write to me, you know, and like, it's hard to read it because I get a lot of it, and like there's really bad situations out there, but I feel like even if I can just make one person feel, and you know, they tell me like I feel better, I feel like I'm not alone, like I see what you're going through, it's making me stronger, or like they leave, and like that really really makes me, you know, because it is.
What do you tell women when they reach out to you? Like what do you try to tell them?
I just try to tell them, you know, like what I do I say, because a lot of women feel a lot of guilt about it, like I did. It's a very hard situation, but I say it's not, especially when it comes to the kids, like if you need to divorce or or not, you know, take them from the dad, whatever it is, I see it as, and it's taken me a long time to get to here, but you're not taking your children away from their dad. You're protecting the children's mother.
While we were watching you, like throughout that season, that your first season, we just thought Matt was like busy at work. Like we had no idea of any kind of marital issues until we did get to know it. And then we find out that he was abusive. Like, did you feel like you were kind of hiding that and masking that you were in an abuse? I mean, I don't want to label your marriage, but however you might want to call it.
I think that I now, when I look back on it, like my marriage overall, the beginning of my marriage was fine. When we moved here, like when I got on the show that first season, that affair had happened a year prior. And we were trying to rebuild and work on it. And then I never thought I was going to get on the show, you know? I like did it like it was like a random thing that I did because my friend like put my name on her application.
You're like, I'm from Long Island.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I drive a minivan. Like, I thought it was hysterical that they were actually gonna put me on it, you know? I'm like, really, me? But so you know, and then I never shared that because I really, in my head, the first season, I had gotten myself to a place where I'm like, that happened, and I truly felt like now that we're getting divorced, it was because we just weren't really right from each other from the beginning. And even now, I really do still believe that, you know? I'm not a person who's going to like feel like I have to share my dirty laundry to get on a show. You know what I mean? So for me, everything's real. And that's really where I was at that time. And I'm not a person who really shares a lot about that anyway. Like that's why I said that whole year that I'd had the affair, I didn't even tell my parents. And I'm so close to my parents. I told nobody. So for me to come into a group of women that I'm meeting for the first time and then just be like, hi, how are you doing? Yeah, my husband had an affair a year ago. It's not going to happen. So I was living my truth, you know, it's just that that's not something I'm going to share, you know? And then the next year, and I never would have until I found out that he was, for the past couple months, you know, I'm like, oh, we're co-parenting so well. Like he hung my TVs up. And then it's like, oh, wait, he's in secretly with this woman again. And that like was like a gut punch. And it was right before Tamra's housewarming party. And I watched that episode now. If I watch it back, I'm like, I look dead. I look dead because I'm like a zombie. And I was like, you know what? There's a lot of things that I can do. And I always try to protect my kids and protect him and everything. I'm like, but I'm not gonna come on Access Hollywood and be asked, oh, so is Matt dating anyone new? And be like, oh yeah, she's a lovely girl, when she destroyed my family. You know? Right. So I'm like, that's it. I'm like, I either have to start talking about this or it's going to eat me alive.
This is not the girlfriend that he's dating, is not the one.
No. Okay.
No.
And his girlfriend now, Britt, is great. She's great. She's really great. She's great for him. She's really great to my children. And also I want to clarify too, he was like, I think mentally abusive, and pretty much after the affair, everything was like just crisis mode and terrible and trying to get over it and not getting over it and explosive fights and insanity after the affair. You know what I mean? But I was not in a physically abusive marriage. I wasn't. You know,
I'm glad you're clarifying this because I don't think people know this.
But like what the incident that happened that night was the first time anything like that had ever happened. Now, if I thank God for the people in my community for calling the police and for those police officers that night, because I was so terrified, number one, like of him being angry because he was like out of his mind, like going to jail and being more angry. But also number two, I was afraid because I knew it was going to get out. And I was begging these police officers to let him go, you know, because I was just so terrified. And they thankfully like did for me what I could not do for myself. Because if that would have happened and they would have went away, I do think I think very seriously that this pattern of behavior would have continued on. And I think it would have gotten worse because typically that's what happens, you know? So I am very thankful that I was like strong enough to go through this journey and really like want to leave this toxic relationship for both Matt and I.
Wow, this was so good. Like, I know it's hard for you to talk about, but it means a lot to the viewers and to us that you are so open to sharing this. Let's move on to something more fun.
Okay, good.
I think we need to take a second and have a drink. Let's take a drink. We really appreciate you though, Gina, being so open, and I know so many women do as well. But
for sure.
It's time to have a little fun.
Yeah. Believe it or not. Okay, we're moving on to our segment called Sip or Spill, which I'm sure you know very well. If you don't want to answer the question, you got to take a sip. Okay. First question. This is like a personal thing because I have some theories. Do you know who Braunwyn Special Someone is, and have you met them before?
I don't know.
I think she's with Barb from Real Housewives of New York.
Barb? I don't know who that is.
Barb has said that she is bisexual, and Braunwyn was staying at her Hamptons house.
Is she like, what's her vibe?
She's like the Long Island construction woman that was one season.
I think that might be her. That might be. I don't know, but then we're being told like somebody else. It's because, you know, she just wants to make it like this big thing. Like it's a big
My mouth is like this because I'm like, if I got this right.
I don't know though. I'm like speculating along with you guys, and you have more information than I do. I don't.
She's Barb's like shorter, brown, long hair. Like
that's kind of what I heard that was the description of the woman, but I don't know can't tell you if this information is accurate.
Okay. So we suspect it could be Barb.
And it could be other people, or she could also be back with Sean full time. We just don't know.
Well, she can't be back with him that full time because she's never home.
That is true. That is a good point. That is a good point.
Right.
Also,
And
okay,
I
let's
don't
move on.
care. I'm like, Braunwyn told us she was a lesbian the first day she met us, basically.
Right.
She's like, hi, I'm Braunwyn. I'm married to Sean because he's my person, but I prefer women sexually. I was like, sounds like you're a lesbian, you know? Like, and that's fine. Like,
Totally. Okay, I want to move on to the second. We're just like getting wrapped up in these
I could
questions.
talk to Gina all day.
So much, but I want to know so much more from you. So, okay, second question. Is Shannon better without the Trace amigas?
Oh God, these questions get me into trouble. I think it was an interesting year for Shannon. I think that it was good for her in the way where like she really had to kind of try to make, like, those were her two best friends on the show, you know? So I think it was hard for her, but it forced her to try and make other friendships with other cast members, which I think is good for her.
Right. Okay. Now, Tamra recently hinted that she could possibly come back to Orange County. Would you be here for that, or would you be like, no way, Jose?
No, I mean, I'm down for whatever, you know, whatever happens, like whoever you put in the room, I'll hang out with them.
Like, what is your gut saying? Do you think she'll be back?
My gut, I don't know, because I mean, my gut is like, when I think about it from like a practical, logistical place, it's a no. Can I see it in a world where like they would offer her potentially like a spot back or a friend role or something? Like, I could see that happening. Sure.
Does she need the money?
I don't think she needs it, but that's, I think that, well, I mean, everybody likes a nice paycheck. I mean, she lost a nice paycheck, you know? And, she's not gonna like lose her house or anything. And Tamra's really good with money, and she's not spend outside of her limits.
Okay.
She's actually really practical, and she likes beautiful things, but she doesn't out spend her means. She's really good with money.
Okay.
So I think she'll always be comfortable, but nobody wants to lose that paycheck. It's like, once you go, I can't imagine they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to pay you what you were getting. And I don't know if she would, I don't know.
Okay. I have another question about Kelly Dodd. So, okay. What's the question exactly? The question is, Kelly Dodd is getting a lot of internet hate this season. Like, people are not digging Kelly for a lot of reasons. Do you think, I can't really tell how close you guys are, but do you think Kelly is still good for the show, or like, is it time for her to move on?
No, I think Kelly is good for the show. I do, because she, you know, we all have our purpose on the show. And I think that she's funny. You know what I mean? I think Kelly's funny. And I think that, like, to me, and that's Kelly, to me, even watching the episode and seeing Braunwyn sit on the couch with her and her say, like, I don't drink, like, I'm an alcoholic, and she's like, oh, you want to sip? Like, I thought that was funny, actually, you know, because it's like, yes, it's insensitive, but it's like Kelly, but she was making, I actually think it was good in the moment for Braunwyn. I think in that moment, Braunwyn kind of needed to laugh. She needed to be pulled out of that.
Okay, so last question, because we've literally already ran out of time, but I love it though. Who would you want to like not see come back next season? If you had a choice.
Honestly, the thing is, and this isn't because like, because I think I've said this already, I do think she is good for the show. And I do think, you know, so it's not like me trying to be like a mean person, but I think that Braunwyn is still going through really like a lot with this whole sobriety and emotionally, and her, you know, figuring out her marriage and her, you know, sexual confusion and stuff like that. She's like, these are major things to go through. And I just don't know if this is like the right venue to go through those things in. And so like, almost like, I'm like give her her own show. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be like fire her. I'm just like, I don't really think it, and it puts us in like a really kind of scary situation. I feel like it's like it's hard for us to navigate too as a group. But then again, I mean, I know that's interesting. So
yeah.
All right, wait. Lauren's gonna kill me because she has to edit this, but I have one more question, and this is just, I'm sorry, Lauren, don't kill me.
I know, I'm literally like, I hate you so much right now, but
I'm
go.
sorry. Okay, wait, okay. Would you marry Travis, and would you have more babies?
I would not have more babies.
Okay.
Because I like my freedom, and it as much as it is so nice to have the 6 kids and it feels so good because they get along and we are a big, beautiful blended family, it's just as important to us to have that break from them and have that just connection as like a couple.
Yeah. Okay.
So no, but I would marry him.
Thank you, Gina. All right, we love you guys for watching. Please let us know below in the comments if you think it's time for Kelly Dad to go.
And make sure you tune in next week because we have Kenya Moore breaking down the first episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yes, it's back. Bye, guys.